What's going on, everybody? Trace Hamilton here. We are at our big country Christmas show at Joe's Live in Rosemont, and I am standing next to an incredible talent, wordsmith, songwriter, incredible live. Look at you just giggling. Hardy is cool. Right here.
What's up?
Hardy, man, how you doing, dude?
Good, man. Really good.
One heck of a year, 2019. We're about done with it, but you have had an incredible year.
I have. You know what's crazy is, I'll try to be really quick, but
Sure.
This was one of the first shows that I ever played ever. My first tour was the If I Know Me tour with Morgan Wallen, and we played here January 4th last year, stayed at the A-Loft across the street, and I got here a day early last year, and I was talking to this bartender, and I was like, yeah, I'm just starting to do this artist thing. Like, I was a songwriter for a long time, and it's been like a year, and I walk in this afternoon, and she's in there bartending, and I just walked up and was like, remember me? And she was like, oh my God, like, I've heard your songs on the radio. And so it was kind of a cool like moment, and you know, a really kind of full circle moment of how much has happened in a year.
In a
so,
year,
yeah,
in a short time. You said you got here a day before your show last year.
Yes.
And you got here yesterday, and you ran into a really cool person.
Yeah.
At a bar.
Yeah, I ran into Buddy Guy.
What?
At his bar. Buddy Guy's
Legends.
bar.
Yeah,
Legends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sat down and noticed some people were coming up and talking to this guy, and I didn't really think anything about it. And actually, what really gave it away is that he had on a really, really nice snakeskin jacket.
Very nice.
And it was like real, and I could tell, and I was like, this guy is like somebody. And anyway, I found out it was him. We took a picture. He was really nice, and it was really cool.
That's incredible.
Super random, and in Chicago, right?
Right.
And I love rock and roll, and I love like Led Zeppelin, and so I know how much the blues influenced a lot of early rock and roll bands, and so it was a really cool moment. And I honestly took that opportunity to thank him for inspiring people that have inspired me. So
That just has to be the coolest feeling.
it was cool. He's kind of old, so I don't know if it really sunk in and resonated with him, but it was a cool moment. I'm really glad that happened.
It resonated with you, and that's
Absolutely. I'll
yeah.
never forget it.
Exactly. Well, man, let's talk about obviously your latest #1, God's Country. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you.
That's like incredible, man. Like, what is that feeling when you get a #1 song? 'Cause it's not your first, but like, what is that phone call like?
It's weird, man. God's Country in particular, because like you get, and there's just no way around it. It's hard, but you do get in like this bubble where it's hard to see kind of the magnitude of some of the things that you create. And God's Country was one of those songs where I kept hearing from people, you know, this is one of, if not Blake's biggest song of his career, and I'm just like, there's no way. But it's just very surreal, and sometimes really hard to grasp that I, you know, made an impact like that on an artist that's been around for a long time, and arguably one of the biggest artists in country music. And I know that's a very stock answer, but it truly is very, very surreal, and it's just hard to realize. But I'm very thankful, and it's still very, very cool.
Good,
nonetheless.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you. I
mean,
appreciate it.
You've been doing the artist thing, like you said, for not that long, but you've been a songwriter, and I was looking through your songbook, dude. Like, you have written for Florida Georgia Line, Morgan Wallen, like Jake Owen, obviously Blake Shelton. Like, where's this all coming from? Like, what? How? How is that a thing?
I moved to Nashville 10 years ago, and that's what I wanted to do. The artist thing just kind of came later, and you know, that kind of is what it is. But I moved to Nashville to be a songwriter, and I've learned that a lot of people did the same. You know, Cole Swindell, who I'm going on tour with, so I've really gotten to know him pretty well over the past 6 months, and I know that he moved here to be a songwriter, and you know, a lot. I mean, there's too many to count. I mean, everybody,
Sure.
A lot of people do, and yeah, so I followed suit, man. That's what I wanted to do, and I signed a publishing deal. I was writing songs for 4 or 5 years before I had any success at all, and finally had a little success, and it's you know, finally starting to pay off. So it's really cool.
It is a 10-year talent for sure. That's what they say.
That is not a joke, man. And sometimes, man, like some of these people, which I could not be more proud, but it blows my mind. Like a writer that gets really hot or that just had a huge hit, and I'm like, man, how long have you been in town? They're like, 2.5 years. I'm like, dude, I was eating ramen and like feeding my dog loaf bread like for 5 years before I had enough money to you know. But anyway, it's cool though.
I mean, what's that first week like in Nashville? Like you move there, you're like, this is what I want to do. Like that just has to be an incredibly overwhelming feeling to be like, this town is so big, there's so many people that are already established, and I'm the smallest fish in this big, huge pond.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I never like, and I don't mean this in any sort of like way other than like I'm just being truthful. I never got intimidated. I always was very hopeful and like never really had a plan B, and just kind of always, you know, told myself if I work hard, it's going to happen for me. And you know, I moved here and my songs weren't great, and I knew that I had to work hard, but I never really got discouraged. And I think that that's like, if I had to give somebody advice, it would be to try as hard as you can to not ever think that you're going to fail, because it's like, this is kind of on a tangent, but like the law of attraction, like what you put into the universe, you know, if you really believe it, it's going to happen to you, kind of thing. And I really believe that. And yeah, so I mean, that first week it wasn't scary for me at all. It was just very hopeful, and I just saw a lot of opportunity, and I took advantage of everything I could. I played open mics, and my sister had already moved to Nashville, and so she was helping me out with a lot of stuff. And I just did open mics. I was instantly trying to meet people, and I understand, you know, it's just a process, and it takes a long time for anybody to get anywhere, and it did for me. But it's I just, you know, just working hard. It was definitely not scary, but it like made me nervous, because it was like moving into a new situation, and I grew up in the country and in a small town, and so it was definitely a very new experience. But I'm glad I did.
Oh, we are too. I mean, like the music that you've created is incredible, and had hand in writing, and obviously 10 years in Nashville, you've made lots of connections, lots of friends, which brings me to my next point and final point, because I think we're running out of time, is Hixtape.
Yeah.
Start to finish, I'm kind of, excuse me, I'm glad that it's like I didn't get it on record, because I would have worn it out, because that's how many times I've listened to the entire thing. But like, how did you get all those artists on one, like that is unprecedented almost.
Dude, it was crazy. It started out, it was supposed to be 4 songs, and it just came, then it turned into 6, and then it turned into 7, and then the day that we cut, like about a week before that, Seth, my manager, came in and was like, dude, you got 10 songs that would work for this type, you know, it's like lifestyle songs, or like songs that would easily, you know, could have features on them. Go for it. Do 10. We'll figure out who to get on there. And so we cut 10 songs, and the only 2 songs that I knew for a fact I was going to have features on was the 2 with Morgan Wallen, Turn You Down, and He Went to Jared. So there were 8 songs that I had no idea. And I wrote down, you know, it's like Christmas time, so it's kind of fitting now, but I wrote down a wish list. I thought of a lot of the artists that I'm a big fan of in town, and each song and whose voices and would sound good on what songs, and some of the people who I just thought would like this song and be interested in it. And you know, I edited it a few times, and the people that I knew that I have an actual relationship with, I texted, like Thomas Rhett and Swindell and Dustin Lynch and a few of those people. And then, you know, some of the OG guys like Trace and Tracy Lawrence I didn't really know that well. And so, you know, the label helped reach out to those guys. But, I mean, luckily, everybody said yes except for a few people. And,
wow.
And that's only, you know, because of, you know, labels and stuff like that.
Sure.
Stuff just kind of gets a little tricky sometimes. But, dude, it just came together like a dream. It was easy, and it was such a blessing because of how easy it was. And yeah, super cool thing, and I'm very, very, very proud of it.
Well, you should be. And now I noticed at the end of it, it says Volume 1. So are we getting a second Hixtape?
Yes.
Have you started working on it? Is there...
No, not working on it. I'm already in my head, just kind of keeping some songs on the back burner that I've written that I know would be good Hixtape songs. But no official, you know, date or anything like that yet. But yeah, there's going to be another one. There's no way there's not going to be. So
that's what I wanted to hear.
Absolutely.
Very excited, man. Hardy opening up our Big Country Christmas show. Last question, man. 2020, big plans? Anything you got on that wish list of yours that you want to check off?
So first thing in 2020 is on January 31st. I'm playing Joe's on Weed, and that's 31st, 2020. Joe's on Weed. Very excited about that. I guess today's the first day that I can announce it because we're playing Joe's here tonight. Anyway, it's a long story. But yeah, Joe's on Weed. I'm very excited about that. Starting in March, I do the Down to Earth tour with Cole Swindell, and then Cole and I join Thomas Rhett on the Center Point Road tour. I knew that. You didn't give me enough time. No, and that's all summer, and you know, like I said, Cole and Thomas are really good friends of mine. So it's just gonna be awesome. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be easy. It's gonna be a party. So pretty much all of next year is gonna be a party. So pray for me.
Pray for his liver.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you so much, dude.
Thank
I
you,
appreciate
dude.
you. Thank you.